What are the scores on the doors?
Yeah, it's a good month. Well, another good month. We're over £5.7 billion worth of construction awards this month. So, we are now into that July period where, July and August period where summer holidays do take effect to get hold of people. Projects are more likely still going on, well, projects will be still going on and still being awarded. But it's difficult to get confirmation of that, and we very much like to verify that information. But yeah, £5.7 billion, which is slightly under last month, 5.9 last month. There were 344 projects, so that's not too bad. And 195 companies make up that £5.73 billion worth of work.
How many topped the 100 million? Because that's always a bit of an indicator, isn't it?
Yeah, 13 this month, so not far off the norm. So, obviously we like to be between 10 and 20. So yes, it's not the top end, but it's not the bottom end. So yeah, no, it's a pretty good month as well there.
It's a weird one, isn't it? I watch it on a fairly regular basis. I watch the BC Live League table a bit like a hawk, to be honest. It's almost like construction hasn't got the memo. The world and the economy and the British political situation seems to be in turmoil, and construction just seems to be over there doing its own thing and not taking any notice whatsoever.
Yeah, because the rolling year total has actually gone up from last month as well. So it's a bit of an anomaly, really. We're still seeing that housing is obviously the mainstay, but I think there is behind the scenes a definite push to make sure that some parts of the economy are still strong, because we are going through this bumpy period. The only issue will be, as I think we talked about, and obviously I contacted you about, is obviously inflation, which is having significant pressures on projects and finishing those projects. And we are seeing a few more companies that are filing for administration or filing for liquidation. So there's some markers that nobody likes to see.
Yeah, that is the strange thing, isn't it? We've had a couple of back-to-back months way above the £4 billion benchmark, or the £4.5 billion benchmark, and yet we do seem to have people queuing for administration and liquidation. It's a real mixed message, isn't it?
It is. I think we're now seeing definitely the fuel issues coming through, which is obviously putting huge amounts of increasing costs, not only on the machinery on site, but obviously delivering the materials, etc., to site. And then we're seeing the manufacturing side of things, where you've got the likes of gas and electricity going through, and I think that's obviously going to only become a little bit worse. And then you've got the inflationary pressures from staff saying, so my bills are going up, I need X, otherwise I can't actually live at home. So therefore, if you don't pay me X, I'm going to somebody that will pay me Y. It's not a very pleasant mix at the moment. It really isn't, and we've got to be very careful.
All the more reason to keep a very close watch on the BC Live League table to get the
Absolutely.
facts as they are. Now, speaking of facts, 5.7 billion. Who was the key beneficiary? Who came out as top dog this month?
Top contractor this month is Kia Group, and they've secured 23 projects. So we're near enough back to the one a day, which is the benchmark. But this month, even though they secured 23 projects, they didn't actually take the overall number of projects. That goes to Morgan Sindall, and I'll come on to that in a little bit later on. Yeah, Kia picked up the most this month with 23 projects. And the top two, or the largest one of them, getting old, got to put some glasses on now. What they have picked up is the North Hants Highways and the West North Hants Highways services contract. So it's highway maintenance and services provisions of highways throughout the area. So overall, that combined total for both of those contracts is £420 million. So that plays a significant part in their £679 million that they picked up over the month. So those two projects, are in the railway, and the roads and maintenance section.
So more than £500 million, not to be sniffed at.
No, it's good, very good indeed. Second on the list is Sir Robert Mcalpine, and they've picked up £567 million worth of it, covering 3 projects. Largest of which is a project in Finsbury Avenue in London, and it's for a new office. So it's a new building arranged over, it's got 3 basements, ground, and 37 upper floors. So it's a large development. It's a private client, and that looks like it's going to be finishing somewhere around about the end of 2027. So that's a long-term project for Sir Robert Mcalpine. Third on the list is Len Lease. They've also picked up over £500 million worth of work. The largest of their projects it's called Project Vista, which is the former ITV London studios in Southwark. The proposal centres around a 26-storey office building connected to 2 buildings of 13 and 16 stories. So, and that's I haven't got an end date for that one, but that's a large project once again in London. So I'm already heading towards what you're going to ask me regarding region-wise. Yeah, London is obviously going to be looking very, very good this month.
It's interesting that we're three people or 3 contractors in, and nobody's mentioned the word house building yet.
No, wait for it.
I'm jumping the gun as I always do. Go on, you carry on.
Yeah, number 4 on the list is Morgan Sindall, and they've actually picked up 35 projects this month.
Wow!
So they take the medal for this month's number of projects. Now this isn't house building, but their largest project is £110 million refurbishment and repair works in Welwyn Garden City. The repair and maintenance of out-of-hours void and planned maintenance works to over 9,500 owned properties, and this is a 10-year contract. So yeah, the client is Welwyn Hatfield Borough Council. So it's partly housing, but here's the housing one. And 5th on the list is Hill Partnerships. Now they picked up something like £375 million worth of work, and the largest one of theirs is in Coventry, and it's a centre development. It's a city centre south development, and it's a landmark regeneration project. 1,300 new homes, and there is commercial elements within it as well. There's some retail and some leisure facilities around that. But mainly it is the 1,300 new homes, and yeah, that's in the centre of Coventry itself. And one further one just to talk about is Lang O'Rourke in 5th, which is another road project, but this is more to do with the HS2. So it's further works for the HS2 project, and this is the Hs2 Interchange Station, which is at Middle Bicknell Hill Lane, Solihull, and it's works towards the A452 Chester Road, and some also to do with the A45 as well. So it's to accommodate for the new HS2 link through that mechanism.
So the Midlands doing quite nicely by the sound of things.
Yes,
we have our usual question.
Yeah.
Wales ? Wales.
Well, they haven't got any worse. That's that's
Wow.
the best. Yes, just about £100 million worth of work in Wales that we've found so far. However, this month they have overtaken Scotland, which is only £76 million worth of work. So yes, I see Ken says about the roads falling apart. I think the Welsh parties, governors over that neck of the woods need to look at their maintenance programs to make sure that they can get some more money into the roads. But yes, so yeah, the good news is Wales this month have overtaken Scotland, but it's not very good in the amount of money that we're looking at those areas. London did pop out top with 2.7 billion, but yes, you're dead right, is the Midlands was 1.1 billion pounds. So yes, with those projects as well. The rest of it is really evenly proportion through the actual rest of the UK from there.
We've had a question from Gary Muirhead, who is probably cursing his luck because he's up in Scotland. Is house building still on the up? I think the chances are it probably is.
Yes, but it didn't take top spot this month because of those large office developments that I spoke about earlier on. It was nudged into second place. So offices was 1.7 billion, whereas housing was 1.4 billion. But the miscellaneous is 500,000. And I spoke about that project in the middle of Coventry, which Hill Partnerships, which has got, I can't remember how many thousand homes, 1,900 homes going to be built there. That would come under miscellaneous because it includes the likes of retail units and leisure facilities as well, because we don't know the split between those. So, yeah, pure housing is 1.4 billion pounds this month, but if you look at some of the the miscellaneous section, that could actually improve that number as well.
So, looking beyond house building, the other sectors, obviously, offices have done quite nicely, roads have done quite nicely.
Yes.
Is the roads element, is that trying to find favour with the voting public and that kind of thing, do you think?
I truly believe it is. I really believe that, that's being pushed out to make sure that, because if year after year, potholes is a significant vote winner or vote loser. And also traffic congestion is also the same. So, yeah, I think looking at it, there is some way of actually saying, right, okay, we are going through a political upheaval at the moment, but stay with us. We're doing the right things, really, aren't we? We're doing the roads, etc. The one that is a little bit concerning there is health. Health hasn't done a great deal this month. It's just 150 million. And education is just about 300 million. And really, we need to improve those two sectors as well. And it'll be good to find out that the list of those those hospitals that were going to be built against what we know is going to be built via our information, and see to say, right, okay, you said this, but you haven't done this. So we need to keep governments accountable to their actions.
Yeah, I did see Matt Hancock backtracking on that for all he was worth the other day on the TV, talking about the fact that we said 40, but some of that was refurbishment and repair. I'm fairly sure it was 40 new hospitals. Politicians, what can you say?
Yes, I think if you refurbish and repair it, it becomes new, doesn't it, Mark?
This is like what's his name? Trigger's broom in Only Fools and Horses, isn't it? Had the same broom for 35 years. Yeah, absolutely. The other point as well, you mentioned potholes there. I did see a stat over the weekend that apparently we spend more on civil servant salaries than we do on pothole repair.
Mm-hmm.
No wonder our roads are in such a parlour state.
But aren't they all working from home anyway? So
working.
Oh yeah, sorry. Yeah, that's why the civil servants are saying to themselves, "I don't need to do the roads." Oh, sorry, I'm being very, very political here. Sorry, I don't need to do the roads because I'm not travelling on them. So why should I spend money on them?
It does make you wonder if that's how the mentality works. It really does.
Yeah, okay, it does. It's I think overall, if we're looking at, if you look at the tenders as well that are currently coming through the actual process, it's a little bit, because it is summer and everything else, it's a little bit quiet. And I think there'll be a better landscape for us all to comment on, shall we say, October time. Once we get to October, we're 9-10 months through the year by then. We can judge it against 2021. We can see what's going forward, and that will really give us an understanding. But if you look at the figures today, it's pretty good.
Yeah, I was going to say 5.7 billion is certainly not to be sniffed at.
No, exactly.
Obviously, that summer lull is always there or thereabouts, and I can't believe it actually is, but it's the 1st of August. We are going into that lull right about now, and then we have a couple of months of furious activity, and then we start the wind down for Christmas as well, don't we?
Yeah, we do. So, yeah, if we could end up something like as a rolling year by the end of the year, something like between 75 and 80 billion pounds worth of work. I think we can all say 2022 was fairly good. And that'll obviously take an amount of time to work its way through the actual being built on site, because ours is just obviously that it's actually starting, but we do need those marquee projects to come back again in 2023 to start to support the construction industry, because obviously now Birmingham, the Commonwealth Games is up and running. A lot of the works there are now completing or completed. There will be some transfer of the units from the sports village into housing. There will be some of that, but the areas such as the pool and areas like that, obviously those works have now completed. So we need something to be changed. I know we're looking at trying to put on some further events. That's what the UK also really does need to have, is a significant event every year, whether it be, could even be the Eurovision Song Contest next year, because that will bring in some refurbishment of hotels, etc., in those areas. But we do need the likes of a World Cup, a European Championship for the football, etc., because that also underpins the construction industry.
Well, given that politicians have pinned their colours very much to the lioness mast, maybe they'll put their money where their mouth is and do a bit of that.
I hope so. I really do hope so.
So obviously we are going into that summer lull, and I know we only ever deal in facts whenever I speak to you, but still feeling fairly upbeat given all that's going on?
We're still feeling upbeat. If we are to say anything, speaking to the member companies, their struggles are really based around two elements, which is rising prices and good staff. So the Flannery issue, or the Flannery initiative, not issue, initiative that they're putting forward, is a great way of maintaining and recruiting good staff. But yeah, we are still looking for staff to do those works. And also staff that are trained, rather than just being, yes, I can do that, that are well-trained staff as well. And I think we were to make, in the last, since COVID, 2 or 3 years, I think the training programs have taken a bit of a breath. I think we need to get back on board with all of that and get our staff once again fully trained and ready for what's coming in the future.
It's quite funny, actually. I've been watching parts of the Commonwealth Games, and a couple of our successful cyclists, female cyclists, said that they had watched the London 2012 Olympics as children. I can't believe it's already that long ago that they were children, but they were inspired to take up the sport. And obviously, we've now got the success of the Lionesses, and lots of young girls in the audience, in the crowd there, saying they're inspired and they'd like to be a footballer in the future. Where is our inspiration coming from? Where is our London 2012 or our European Championships?
Wow, yes.
You would think it would be HS2.
Yes, you would think it would be HS2. We've got to look at connectivity throughout the UK. I'm just reading what Peter's put down there. Yeah, training programs, great, they are accelerating, but what they're doing is probably they're only catching up with what we need to do, rather than actually improving the process. We are definitely doing it, so it's good news that they're accelerating. But where's our inspiration come from? No, HS2 is an iconic project that we need to do, and it has got bad publicity for some unknown reason. It really has. We're very quick to say, why are we spending this amount of money? But in 15 years' time, when it's all up and running, we will just be absolutely at joy with the amount of time and capacity that it's actually going to improve upon those services. As long as there's no train strikes, obviously. But yeah, where's it? I suppose we need maybe like another bridge or another tunnel. The tunnel under Stonehenge could be one of those sort of projects. We've also got Crossrail, but do we need Crossrail Crossrail 2? Those are the sort of things we've got to start to look at, and start to say, right, okay, that's our vision and that's our inspiration.
I think that's one of my concerns, and I am going to say, I'm going to pin my colours to the mast. I think what Flannery's have done with that hotel is absolutely fantastic. But I think one of the problems we have with inspiration is something like an HS2 or a Crossrail. It tends to be the contractors that are involved in it that make a big song and dance about it, and they put in all the hard work with the schools and the colleges and the universities. But the rest of the industry just kind of carries on about their business. We need, as an industry, to say, here's HS2. What a fantastic example of our capabilities, our engineering excellence, and a fantastic lead into what is still a fantastic industry. That, I think, is what's missing.
Both you and I have spoke. We both enjoyed our time in the construction industry, and we have, and I think you were talking about it last week, had the crack. We really have. It's getting that kind of conversation through to younger people. But what we've got to do is improve the outlook. Well, not the outlook. So improve the vision of the industry and how it looks to the outside world. Because we don't, with things that go on, whether there's a death on site and things like that, that can only be bad publicity. It's not good publicity. We've got to improve that. And we've got to be able to embrace technology. But with technology comes accountability, because you cannot hide from technology. And if you put accountability anywhere, that is when you get some hurdles and some pushback. But young people through the industry love technology. So it's going to come. So we should not be a king canute.
Well, there is the headline. We should not be a king canute. There you are, construction people. You heard it here first. Thanks very much indeed for that, Neil. Great news again.
Yes.
Long may it continue. 5.7 billion. I shall go and have an extra cup of coffee based on that.
Oh dear, with double espresso or?
No, not in my state of health. No, I'd keel over if I had a double espresso, I think. Right, Neil, I'm going to let you get back to the day job. Thank you ever so much for being here. I hope the damage to the house is not as severe as you first believed. Fingers crossed.
Yeah, thanks.
I'll speak to you soon.
Speak to you soon. Bye-bye.
Cheers.